I remember the first time I came into a home group in our church in Azerbaijan of the sign of the deaf, and it was new world to me. And I come into the room and all the heads are turning my direction, and I feel like, you know, something's wrong with my shirt. What is happening? You know, it's like, and then I sit down and they follow all their faces are like this, you know, following after me. And it took me probably 5-10 minutes to realize they don't hear. They need to kind of see with their eyes, you know. And they tried to read my lips. I spoke Russian, you know, but it's broken Russian. So that was my first encounter with the deaf. And I figured out back then that they are like not just a community, but they are like a people group, really. They have their own codes, their own way of living, their own way of understanding reality, their own way of solving their disputes and problems. So we always did something for the deaf, you know, all kinds of programs, and, you know, it was all locally sponsored by our church. And then these years passed by, and I years later, I mean many years later, I translated into the Wycliffe Bible translation space, and I got to learn more about that sign languages actually need their own Bible, because that was not something that I took for granted, because in Sweden most deaf people, they can read. Some of them, many of them are highly educated. But after some time I realized that still their first language is not what they read, it's the signs. It's the main language, it's a heart language. So, and at this time, you know, Pastor Israel from Azerbaijan, he contacted me, and I was transitioning into this part role as partnership facilitator for Global Partnership in Eurasia. And they've been trying to get funding for this project for a couple of years actually, and not succeeding. So I took this project and I presented it to my colleagues, and also a little bit trying them, you know, to see, you know, what can they do, and because I didn't know anything about it. So, and when they looked upon the budget, it was $31,000. They shook their heads and said, and it was 4 gospels in 1 year. It's like, how did they do that? I said, I don't know. I mean, what do I know? If I trust them, I know these people. They're smart people. I mean, if they say they can do it, they're not born yesterday. I mean, they can do it. So we helped them out a little bit. We tweaked the proposal and we started out, and it's like, this was like, I got the proposal in October. And after 2 weeks, the pastor said, so you agree, will you do it? And give us some time. He calls me the next week and says, you guys are not serious, you know. So I got to learn, and I was reminded how the church operates in many parts of the world. It is now. You know, it's not like we need, you know, tomorrow, next week, or in a half a year. So we really pushed that through, and we even started the project with money that was not, you know, from other sources, to just set them up to start, because they didn't believe that we were serious. That's what was their problem, you know. So but then they started, and in 1 year, first year, when we evaluated this, it was an innovation project, because we didn't know about, you know, what we talked about, quality and accuracy, and how they're going to do that. You know, with so many questions. So after a year, when we evaluated it, we saw that it was basically very good quality. There needed to be some things added to it, changed. So we had to increase, and we included a lot more people in the project, and some more people from, you know, that we had in the country that happened to be there, that were exegetes. So they were kind of getting on board, and they helped them with some of these things. So, but they're well on schedule. They're gonna do the New Testament, finish it in maybe 4, maybe 5 years. But still, it's exceptional. And what happened with it, and the price is, the cost for it is exceptional, because including in-kind donations, we are I don't know the budget now, it's about 70,000 or something a year, but it's still in-kind donations included. So it's, and also it was equipment in the beginning that was expensive, so the price is going down. But this inspired, because Pastor Israel knows so many deaf people, in this area. And so this inspired other people. So now Georgia is going, all the Central Asian countries are going, Swedish Sign Language is, which is not connected there, is started. And more than, after the sign language consultation we held as one of the effects of this, we started more than 30 sign language projects in Eurasia. We have to remember it's also a lot of restricted areas, difficult places. And for me, it's like I'm just looking for this. I'm thinking, it is amazing what God can do through His local church, even in those places. It's amazing what He can do. And people show up and you don't even know that they're there. They have capacity, qualities, educations. It's just very humbling to know that God, Jesus is the Lord of the church, and He takes care of His church. So that's my story.
Thank you.